Washington National Airport was born of a vision to have an airport worthy of the nation's capital.
The WPA was a labor organization that was formed because people on welfare needed jobs. The WPA was available in 1935, but nobody could decide where to put the airport until Roosevelt came along in 1938 and said, okay, we're going to put it here.
Roosevelt's WPA made the airport a gleaming display of technology and artistry. The first plane took off on June 16, 1941, and the airport's success was immediate, serving 344,000 passengers in the first year, and reaching the 1 million annual passenger mark just 5 years later. In the early days, flying was a glamorous experience. Passengers and flight attendants dressed for the occasion, and there was a certain excitement in the air for every flight.
We had to present an image of glamour. You know, I mean, these were the people that were the movers and shakers, or whatever you want to say, of the world, not just of Washington. I remember Jacqueline Kennedy came on one day and said, and I had my back turned, and I said, she said, is this plane, you know how her voice went, is this plane going to Washington? And I turned around and there was Jackie Kennedy right there. And I remember having on the white gloves and an armful of magazines. And I said, oh yes.
Just across the river from the nation's capital, Washington National's operations were managed by the FAA. Over several decades of steady growth, it was clear that the operations could not keep up with passenger demand.
And National was just in a state of decay. It was dilapidated. It was anything but a great gateway to the nation's capital. And I was very concerned that we moved these airports out of the federal government so that we could get revenue bonds, which would enable new construction at the airport.
In 1984, then Secretary of Transportation Elizabeth Dole made it her mission to get Congress to transfer operations of the airport to a regional authority.
The transition itself from the FAA to the authority was mechanically very difficult because there was so much to do, but politically it was generally thought to be impossible. From the federal perspective, it was working just fine. And what we were able to do, what we decided was important to do, and then ultimately did, was get the business community in the Washington area seeing this as their issue.
I think we really were able to not only convince people, but there had to be a little horse trading as well. But we were able, with a lot of persuasion, to get that legislation passed.
Securing the community support for the process helped the authority as they started a series of projects to upgrade the airport, the construction of new terminals, and convincing the metro system to redesign a route to have a station on airport property.
Today, almost 20% of the passengers flying into and out of this airport use the metro. It's by far the largest percentage of passengers in any airport in America that use the local transit system to get downtown.
An economic driver of the community, Reagan National Airport has grown steadily over the years and now serves about 23 million passengers per year, 7 million more than it was originally designed for. President and CEO Jack Potter has put forth a vision to redesign and add to the existing activities to better serve its customers. And in its 75th year, the airport is in the midst of a billion-dollar transformation.
Moving the security, creating the new North Terminal, and having additional parking. When we have all those complete, we will now have facilities that can comfortably accommodate the 23 million passengers that we have moving through this airport on an annual basis.
The end result promises to make the airport even better. 10 airlines currently serve Reagan National, including American Airlines, which operated the first flight in 1941.
We are proud to be the first and longest serving airline at Washington National, and more importantly, we're proud to be the largest one there today. We're now, from that first flight, we've gotten over 75 years and carried over 11 million passengers through Reagan National last year. So it's been a long and fruitful relationship, and one that we're looking forward to for many years to come.
And obviously it's been a tremendous boon to this area. And we have one of the finest airports in the nation now as a gateway to our nation's capital.
And so I think of it as again, one of the treasures of this metropolitan area, and one that everyone is very, very proud of. We're committed to that, and we know we're only going to get better with some of the plans that we have for the future. The journey always begins here.